you guys doing today? Thanks a lot for checking out this Go Drum Yourself gear review. My name is Nathan Richardson, and today I'm going to be talking about the Tama Speed Cobra hi-hat stand. So anyways, let's get started. So the Tama Speed Cobra hi-hat stand and the regular Iron Cobra hi-hat stand are essentially the same thing. The only difference is the Speed Cobra hi-hat stand has the long footboard just like the Speed Cobra bass drum pedal. When I first saw this, I didn't know what kind of a difference it would make for me, but then when I started playing with it, I realized that heel splashes go a lot quicker. When I lift my foot up, I don't have to move it up to get my heel on the footboard like I have to do with most hi-hat stands. It's just, since it's a longer footboard, it's right there. I lift my foot up and put my heel down, so it gets rid of one little step, which, that makes a pretty big difference. So the other big thing that I like about the Tama Iron Cobra hi-hat stands in general is the third support. Most hi-hat stands, or most two-leg hi-hat stands, the footboard is the third support. This one, however, it's not. You got the two legs, and then we have this little boot here. And this can extend out, it comes out about 3 inches or so. Pull it out here. If I can get it out. So, see how far that extends out. About 2 or 3 inches. So, I kind of just keep mine back all the time because it's never been an issue for me. I haven't had to extend it out to get any better support. And so that's awesome. I think that's great. Plus, when you pack this thing up, it packs up super tight in your hi-hat stand. This is one of the coolest things about it, I think. That is a really small footprint in your hardware case or your hardware bag. You got that little spot right there that comes out a little bit, but these legs are made to fit right in here around the hinge and everything. So I think that's pretty rad. This thing packs up way smaller in my bag versus my little hi-hat stand. And that to me is pretty cool. So, anyways, another cool feature about this thing is the quick adjustment on the tension of the footboard. So, really stiff or really loose. If you're doing heel splashes, you probably want it looser most of the time. I find the action to be very good with it loose. But anyways, another thing we got, if you want to raise the footboard angle, it's right in here. You see it, there's a couple little markers on here so you can kind of gauge, or if you're adjusting a lot, to remember how you like it. So higher, lower, I keep mine right in the middle. Another cool feature on this is the spurs in the feet. Now there are a couple other companies that do that, but I like that one a lot. You're getting a little bit more of an angle, so they're digging into the carpet more, versus a lot of hi-hat stands where the spurs are over here and they just go straight down, and they're not getting any leverage on the carpet. Okay, so when I pack up my hi-hat stand, I take the rod and the top part out and I pack them up separately, because my hardware bag's only 36 inches long, and if I left it together, it wouldn't fit in there. So I pack up the rod, the clutch, and the top post just like this. So whenever I set up my hi-hat stand, I just pop it in there like that, and I got my memory lock, and I start tightening it down. One thing that I like about the Iron Cobra hi-hat stand is right there where you stick the rod into, it's a little concave. So when I put it in, it slips right down in there. You could put in a million "that's what she said" jokes there too. But anyways, so every time I get in there, I'm not looking around trying to get it lined up. For me, that just makes it a little quicker than taking everything apart, taking this out, doing that, and putting it on. So I like that aspect a lot. Now, another thing, let's talk about the tilter, the tilting mechanism. This is the only thing that I didn't really like too much about this hi-hat stand. So, let's talk about a few adjustments we can make on this. So, the one thing that I thought was a little weird about this is the spring that came in here was always pushing it up. No matter how low you'd get it, it was still always pushing the tilter up a little bit. Now, I didn't have too much of a problem with that, but a friend of mine who tried out the hi-hat stand, his bottom hi-hats, or his hi-hats in general, are really light. And he said his bottom hi-hat was too light to actually force that spring down a little bit. So he said it was always tilted more than he wanted it. So a quick fix for that, take a flathead screwdriver, and you can see in here, I'm just prying off the top part of this tilting mechanism. And they might have made this specifically so you could cut this spring and do this. This could be in the owner's manual. I don't know, because I don't read the owner's manual on any drum thing that I buy unless it's electronic. So, take the spring out and just take your wire cutters and cut a little bit off. I cut this much off, and that worked fine for me. And remember, cut just a little bit at a time instead of cutting too much, and then you actually need more, and then you're in trouble and you got to go out and get a new spring. A little bit at a time is, you know, a smarter choice. So anyways, I got the spring here. One other thing before I put the spring back in, my felt came off of this, so all I did, take some super glue, put a little bit on there, and I put a clamp on here for about 10 or 15 minutes. Hasn't come off since. So now that I've done all that, get the right spring, I'll put the spring back on here, and put my tilting mechanism back on, and it's made to slip right on there, clips right into place. So now you've made a couple little minor adjustments to this, and I think it'll work for anybody. No matter how light your bottom hi-hats are, you can clip that spring to make it work for you. So, and then you got your stopper there, lock that in place for where you want it. Now let's check out the hi-hat clutch, because this one's a little interesting. So we got the top screw up here. That one locks this into place. So once we get it where we want it, we tighten it against it. It's not going to go anywhere, so it's always going to be the same. But anyways, so this part right here, we don't have a top felt on this one. We got this little rubber piece. It is cool because it does have a nylon sleeve over the threads, and that's pretty cool. That's going to make your top hi-hat, it's going to keep it from keyholing and maybe make it last a lot longer. But this rubber hi-hat, or this rubber felt here, we can see how it has these two little ridges on it. Now that's to you know, make less contact with the hi-hat, so that way it's going to resonate more. So that's pretty cool. But those ridges, if my hi-hats are swaying back and forth, it's not going to be too good on the hi-hats if they're swaying against those ridges. So that's why Tama put in this little red dot here. So you know whenever that dot's facing the angle of your stick, or the angle of your stick lines up at that dot, the hi-hats are going to sway, you know, appropriately. So that's kind of cool. Kind of a pain. I don't really want to think about it that much, but thankfully, hi-hat clutch, it's a pretty easy thing to get a new one, find one you like better, whatever. You might love this one, it might be great for you. So anyways, also the thing that's cool about this, it's going to keep people from putting their hi-hats in between the two locking, you know, mechanisms, like I see a lot of people do with their hi-hats. I always find that funny. So anyways, yeah, and got a nice little hi-hat clutch, and that's basically the gist of the Tama Speed Cobra hi-hat stand. It sells for about $229.99 at a place like explorersdrums.com. I think that's a really good deal considering a lot of the top-of-the-line hi-hat stands I've seen go for up to $300. So $70 cheaper than some of your more expensive ones, or you know, some of the higher on the price chain. So I think that's a great deal. You save $70 from some of the other ones, and folds up really tight in your hardware bag. It's very adjustable. Do really quick hi-hat and heel splashes with it, and a really solid piece of hardware. Anyways, I'm going to play a little bit for you so you can kind of see some of the heel splashes in action. Check it out. thanks for checking out this Go Drum Yourself gear review. Remember, check out our website, godrumyourself.com. Become friends with us on Facebook and Twitter. And if you have any questions or any gear that you want to see reviewed, email us at info@godrumyourself.com. Until then, remember, go drum and be yourself.